Oh, there we go. Just testing some stuff first. I'm a little rusty here. Is it working? Okay, yeah, it looks like it's working. Okie doke. Oh, my lord. Oh, what a nightmare. God bless. Hi. Please let me get my bearings here real quick. I might have to cut this part out later. Which is fine, because there's no chat this time. Yeah, you might have noticed there's no chat. If there's anybody in here yet, which probably there's not. I'm not looking at the screen for that right now, so I have no idea. Blah, blah, blah. Hold on. Yeah, I'm a little rusty. A little bit rusty. Bless. Okay. Cool. Alright. Okay, I'm super rusty. Oh my goodness. Whew, I am already tired. So tired. Right. Well, sorry, my lips were dry. I needed some, I needed some lip stuff. What do you call it? It's not, I don't have chapstick. It's like a lip balm thing. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, hi, happy Halloween. It's been a long time. I haven't been on in a hot minute here. I've been meaning to come back on, for a lot of reasons. I have like so much stuff that I haven't released yet. Jehovah's Witness wise. But there's a reason. There's a reason I haven't been around for a while. There's a reason I haven't been able to do as much activism related stuff as I've wanted to in a while. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I know it's Halloween. I do have a pumpkin. Oh, God bless. Okay. Holy crap, he's a big guy. I mean, he's not even that big, but this is my pumpkin. Oh God, I don't even know if you can see it. Let me see. Yeah, this is my pumpkin. Whoa, it's massive. I love it. It's pumpkin-rific. It's a Cinderella pumpkin. I don't really know what that means, but I like it. So, anyway. Yeah, if I sound out of breath, I kind of am. I'll explain that too, but yeah. Yeah, this is going great. It's going about as well as I expected it to. So, where do I begin? Gosh. So I've been pretty sick. I've been pretty sick for a lot longer than I realized. I've been sick for like years without knowing. And actually, in the case of certain things that I'm dealing with, they've been lifelong things that I've been dealing with without realizing it up until now. But more recently, I've had some pretty hardcore health problems happening. They've made me pretty incapacitated at times. I have some good days, but just being totally honest here, most of it is really rough. Like day to day, really, really rough. We're talking, it takes a tremendous amount of energy just for me to be able to eat solid food once a day. A good chunk of my nutrition comes from, supplemental nutritional sources, liquid, not food. But yeah, where do I begin? So right, I've been sick for a little while with this more serious stuff, not with like the other stuff that I mentioned that's lifelong, the genetic stuff. But I guess part of this more recent sickness is genetic too. The more recent stuff, I want to say, started sometime around the spring/summer. I was just getting my kidney infections and stuff, like I have been for years. I have a bunch of stones in both my kidneys, so that wasn't like really surprising for me. But then around, I want to say June, yeah, I started getting really, really sick. Sorry about that. That was my watch. Yeah, so I started getting really sick around June. Really, 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 really sick. Sicker than I think I've ever been in my life. And I wasn't able to eat. I was losing weight really rapidly. I was getting infections and stuff that the doctors weren't even sure what they were, like what was actually infected. I was in and out of the hospital a lot, and nobody had any answers. Like, people were just like, I don't know. So it was pretty scary. It was pretty scary at first. I mean, it's still scary, but excuse me. Sorry, hope that didn't make a lot of noise. Yeah, so it's been pretty scary. I've been dealing with like the really, really hardcore stuff, like I said, since about June. In and out of the hospital, all that jazz. And gosh, I didn't think this would be that hard to talk about. I should have scripted it or something. But I don't like to script things, especially not personal stuff. It just feels weird to do that. So yeah, actually, I don't know if y'all know Alt Worldly, aka Jake Bond. It was around that time that, I want to say June, yeah, like June/July, that I had been watching some of his stuff, and he talked about his own chronic illness that he deals with. He deals with Crohn's disease. And I started to realize that we had a lot of similarities symptom-wise, and I started to look into it. I used to think Crohn's disease was actually celiac. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about Crohn's. But yeah, the more I looked into things, the more things made sense. And so I finally, bit the bullet and made a doctor's appointment, just to my regular doctor. That doctor referred me to a gastro. That gastro turned out to be a big, gaping butthole, but he got me to another gastro who's actually better. After he said that he was the best one, he was like, "I'm the best gastro in this town." So I know what I'm talking about. Long story, but he was arguing with me about some really stupid shit. Because he thinks he knows everything. Like a lot of doctors think they know everything, meanwhile they seemingly, at least in my case, most of the time, have not known much. Which is also scary. Yeah, so he sent me to another gastro. This is after being in and out of the hospital like, 5 or 6 times in just a month or two. And In fact, I couldn't even keep enough just liquid down to be able to do the prep for the colonoscopy that they wanted to do on me at first. Upper and lower endoscopy, blah blah blah. They wanted to stick a camera in my mouth and, up the old back door. So they had to admit me to the hospital for that too. That was a horrible experience. Not the camera part itself, but what happened afterward. They gave me a medication without even asking me. And I had to ask them what it was that they were injecting into my IV, and the nurse told me what it was. It was Ativan, by the way, which there was no reason for them to give me any Ativan. They just did that, and then they also gave me morphine, and they gave me a Vicodin after that, a Norco. Like, this was all within the span of a few minutes. So that was a gnarly amount of medicine. I was like, are y'all trying to kill me? I had a bad reaction to the Ativan, and that made for a pretty scary and negative experience. Not just for me, but I'm pretty sure for the nurses too. It wasn't fun. So that was pretty traumatic. I ended up leaving the hospital without completing some of the treatment and testing I was supposed to get. Not because I wanted to. But that's another long story for possibly another day if I ever feel like telling that story. So after all that, like I said, I had learned through Jake what Crohn's disease was, and that's what they were investigating me for. In fact, they're still not even sure 100% that that's what it is, but they do believe I have some form of autoimmune disease. They're still sketchy. Like, different doctors are like, they have their different opinions. Like I said, doctors in my case don't seem to really know much. So I possibly have that, but for sure I have some kind of autoimmune thing. They're also investigating the possibility that I have a connective tissue disease called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It makes your skin stretchy, makes your joints all bendy, all that kind of stuff. Makes it not heal as well or as quickly as other people. It also makes it really soft and velvety and smooth and whatever. For some people, I think for the classical Ehlers-Danlos type, it actually makes their skin so stretchy and loose that it's like really wrinkly and stuff. But I don't think I have that type. So yeah, I'm getting genetic testing for that. And they also, in the process of trying to investigate for Crohn's disease, found out that I have a birth defect called pancreas divisum. It's basically this thing where you have these little ducts inside your pancreas, and that's where all the bile comes out of and stuff. And mine didn't fuse like they're supposed to. They're supposed to fuse together before you're born. Mine didn't do that. So mine are just like this, throwing up a deuce. Which isn't good, because that means mine are so skinny that they get clogged, and the pancreas gets backed up, and then gets inflamed, and then gets damaged, and this happens over and over and over again. And because of that, I have chronic pancreatitis, which is a progressive disease. Eventually, not right away, but eventually, I'm not going to have a functioning pancreas anymore. You can live without a pancreas, but I would have to be on insulin for the rest of my life. There's also the risk of pancreatic cancer, which is what Bill Hicks died of. I don't know if y'all know Bill Hicks, one of my favorite comedians. There's also the risk of diabetes, and not just diabetes, but diabetes type 3. Because like I said, this might be, other than just being chronic pancreatitis, if I don't have Crohn's like they think I do, they're thinking it may be autoimmune pancreatitis. Because I don't drink, I don't do any drugs. The only stuff that goes into my system is what I'm prescribed by the doctors. And so they have no idea, like, I don't even have a gallbladder. Usually the things that cause chronic pancreatitis are you have a gallbladder problem, or you have an alcoholism problem, or you smoke cigarettes, or use drugs or whatever. I don't do any of those things. So they were like scratching their head at that until they found the pancreas divisum. So they're assuming that that's what that was for now, until they can prove otherwise. And in the process of everything else, I also learned that I have POTS. Not the 420 blaze it kind. Like I said, I don't do anything. But no, POTS as in postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So what that means is that I have tachycardia all the time. Like, my heart rate basically is always a little elevated, and by a little I mean like kind of a lot. Like, for instance, you probably can't see it right now, but you definitely can't see it. Oh, shit. Well, yeah, you can't see it, but yeah, my heart rate is currently elevated at, shit, it won't go. What is it? Damn it. I can't even see it myself. Hold on. Yeah, my heart rate is 111 right now. Yeah, you can't see it in the damn camera because I suck, but hold on. I guess I should have brought my stupid, whatchamacallit, little dealie. I have a pulse oximeter. I should have used that. That would have been probably smart. Oh well, you get the point. Yeah, my heart rate right now is elevated at 111, and I'm just sitting here, and I don't have anxiety. I'm not currently in any kind of pancreatitis flare, at least not that I know of. But chronic pancreatitis, at least in my case, this isn't for everybody. Like, everybody's chronic pancreatitis experience is very different. At least I've learned that much in all my talking to other patients and research and stuff. In my case, the pain is pretty constant. Like, it's every day, all day. And this has been going on for years. So I just thought it was my gallbladder. But like I said, I don't have one anymore. They took that out last year, right before Crusaders came out. A couple weeks before, actually, on the dot. And yeah, my pain is on the right side of my body, kind of, under my ribs, under my rib cage, like at the bottom-ish part of my rib cage, and it wraps around to my back, and sometimes it goes to my left side as well. They're also investigating me for something called sphincter of Oddi dysfunction, which just means that the little thing that squeezes the bile or whatever has a spasm or like gets inflamed and stuff. It's crazy. Like, it's interesting. It's somehow controversial diagnosis because some doctors don't even believe it's a thing. My doctor does believe it's a thing, thank goodness, which is why he's investigating it. But yeah, it would explain the type of pain that I'm having and stuff when I'm not literally in a flare. Because if you're not in a flare, it shouldn't be that bad. But every time I eat, I should also mention at this point, I have gastroparesis. That means that I have delayed gastric emptying. My stomach takes, my intestines, everything, my digestive system takes forever to digest food. Like 8+ hours, I'm not even kidding, to digest one freaking meal. And if you didn't know, it really should only take you about 4 hours maximum to digest food. So that's not normal. Which is why I feel full after one meal. I feel full for like literally the whole day. And in fact, that's if I can even keep it down. Usually I immediately want to barf after that because it's just sitting there. It won't go. My body just is like, it forgets how to digest, or it just stops doing it. Like the whole process just pauses and starts and stops and takes forever. It's weird. But I've known about that for a while. I knew I had that for a couple of years already, I think. No, actually for like almost 5 years at this point I've known. Usually if you have gastroparesis, you got something else going on. So it still could, be the Crohn's, or it could be the chronic pancreatitis, or the sphincter of Oddi. Sphincter of Oddi does cause gastroparesis issues. So yeah, so with that, like, I eat, the food takes its frickin' sweet time. By the time my sphincter of Oddi activates during the digestive process, it'll sometimes get a little, it'll spasm. Opiates can make it spasm worse. I found that out when they gave me morphine for the pain in the hospital, which was a no-no. They're not supposed to do that. Dilaudid is okay. Morphine is bad, because morphine actually makes the spasming worse. So yeah, it'll spasm and it'll cause a lot of pain for like 30 minutes to maybe an hour. Not a fun time. And that happens every time I ingest something. Like, not just solid food. It even does that when I drink liquid nutrition, or when I drink the 8 billion gallons of water and Gatorade that I have to drink. Yeah, so that POTS thing that I was talking about earlier, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, I have the hyperadrenergic type, which means I have high blood pressure, high levels of norepinephrine in my system, and a bunch of other stuff goes nuts. Not just my heart rate. Like, I sweat a lot, especially when I'm asleep. I also have to get up to pee like 3 billion times when I'm asleep, because for some reason when you have this, it makes your kidneys like work a lot more, especially when you're asleep or lying flat. A solution to that is to sleep like at an incline, but I can't freaking do that. I just can't do that. My back would kill me. It also makes me have high blood pressure. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure 2 years ago, and this was back when I was first investigating why my heart was doing weird stuff. And the doctors just said, looks like you just have high blood pressure. Turns out it's not just high blood pressure. High blood pressure is a symptom of the POTS. So what happens is, my blood pressure is normal when when I'm sitting around or doing whatever, but then when I stand up, I get what's called orthostatic hypertension, as in my blood pressure goes up. A lot of people with POTS usually tend to have orthostatic hypotension, which means their blood pressure goes down and they can feel faint and stuff. I still feel faint, but that's usually if I'm out in the sun, or if I'm walking too much or standing for too long, or if I sprint, or if I lift something really heavy. Basically anything that drives my heart rate up super high makes me feel faint. This makes a lot of things really challenging, like cooking, picking up after myself, taking a freaking shower. My heart rate goes up to 170 in the shower. I've tested it. I've worn my watch in the shower to see what happens. My heart rate was 160 just walking from Starbucks to the grocery store earlier today. And it was a very short distance. It really wasn't like a long walk. And it wasn't super hot outside. It was like 70 degrees. And it was overcast. There wasn't even any sun. But when the sun is out, oh dear God. Some days it's worse than other days. Like, some days the tachycardia will only get up into the 120s when I'm standing up. But today was one of those bad days, unfortunately, where every time I stood up, it jumped up into the 140s or 150s, and then walking around outside apparently made it go into 160. Talking also makes my heart rate go up a lot. If I were to stay quiet, I think my heart rate would drop. Let me see here. Yep, my heart rate just dropped into the 90s because I stopped talking for a little bit. So yeah, as you can see, literally everything I do affects it. That's why I sounded out of breath in the beginning. That's why my hair is all gross and greasy. It's because I can't, I sweat doing nothing. My watch says I burned 414 calories just sitting here because of my heart rate. Earlier, it thought I walked 11 miles when I absolutely did not freaking walk 11 miles. It's just because of my heart rate. My heart rate messes up the readings on the watch a little bit. Also, if you have POTS, you use 3 times as much energy as a healthy person. So that means that on top of not being able to eat as it is, like I literally can only eat 1 solid meal a day, as in solid food. On top of not being able to eat and having trouble with that, I'm actually supposed to be eating a lot more than I am, like 3 times as much, just to maintain my body weight. Which is why I don't know if you've noticed, I'm a little skinnier. That's another thing that happened is, like I said earlier, I lost a lot of weight. I was 190 pounds, partly because of pandemic weight, partly because of what I know now is deconditioning from POTS. Because I was in so much pain that I wasn't able to get up and do stuff, so I was in bed a lot. So I gained a lot of weight. I was 190 pounds as of March 11th. And then now I am 135 pounds. So I lost a lot of weight, and I literally lost about 50 pounds between March and July. Yeah, March and July. Yeah, that's right. So I lost 50 pounds between then, and then now I'm 135. So I lost a bit more. It's a challenge. I actually have to make effort to eat, to get calories, to put as much water in my system as I need, and also electrolytes, because when you have POTS, especially if you're sweating a lot from your POTS, you need to replace those electrolytes. And being hydrated, especially with salty stuff, helps you to increase your blood volume, which helps you to keep more blood pumping around your body. Because when you stand up, all the blood goes down to your legs, which is normal, but for a normal person, the blood will eventually circulate back up to your heart and to your head and all that stuff. For me, because I have POTS, mine just kind of hangs out in my legs, and my legs turn red. It just sits there instead of coming all the way back, which is why my heart goes bump, 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 because it's trying to make it come back up. And it does eventually come back up, but it takes a lot more effort. So that's what I mean when I say I have to use more energy just to exist. Like, just sitting here, I'm using more energy than you probably would be if you're a relatively healthy person. The heart rate that I have right now is that of somebody who's taking a leisurely walk. So that's kind of weird. Yeah, I'm literally tachycardic. When I first started noticing this issue, because POTS is not like always a constant thing, that you can have flares and then like you can quote unquote get better from it, but then it can come back, a few months later or something. I'm pretty sure that's what's been happening to me on and off. So yeah, POTS is like, sorry, it gives you brain fog too. It's hard to concentrate. That's why I turned off the live chat, is because it's hard enough for me to concentrate with the brain fog and the ADHD and all that crap. But yeah, it's the heart rate thing. I forgot what I was going to say straight up. It's rough though. Like, I'm tachycardic just sitting here. That's right. That's what I was going to say. Is I was scared when I first realized this. I actually didn't know I was having these Heart things, I knew something was wrong 2 years ago because I was taking readings with my blood pressure thingy, and it would show my heart rate and my blood pressure spiking like crazy. Um, and I was like very confused by that, and I thought like I was really, something was wrong, something was broken. Like I said, they just thought it was high blood pressure, but yeah. When it started happening again more recently, I started to notice because I got one of these watches here that tells you your heart rate and all that stuff. And that's when I started to realize, holy crap, it's always doing this. No wonder I'm always freaking tired. No wonder I always feel like crap and feel dizzy and can't stand up for a long time at the store. But at first I thought I was septic or something. I went to the hospital because I was freaking out. I thought I was dying. I couldn't sleep either because sometimes when the POTS is really acting up, my heart rate is like going nuts, racing when I'm trying to sleep, and it wakes me up, or I can't even fall asleep in the first place. So that's more contributing to the tiredness and the brain fog and all that crap. Yeah, it's it's insane. And I feel out of breath. Like a good chunk of the day, I feel out of breath. I don't feel good most of the day, and that's just from the POTS. Add to that the chronic pancreatitis, the fact that I'm constantly sweating. I can't eat properly. I'm still losing weight. Like I feel like I don't know if y'all have ever seen the movie Thinner, but I feel like I'm in that movie. Like it just keeps going, no matter how much I try to keep up with it. I keep losing weight. I couldn't go with my kids trick or treating or anything this year because I can't. Like it takes a lot out of me to stand and walk. Like I can literally do approximately one errand per day. It's rough. Some days I can't even cook. I mean, most of the days I can't cook. I literally have, by cook, like, I mean, the most that I can do cooking-wise is, like, maybe throw together a sandwich, and even that sometimes is too much effort. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'm not even kidding you. The last time I cooked a real meal, like I made a soup recently, I was so beat after making it, and it took 6 hours for me to do it because I had to keep sitting down and getting back up, sitting back down, getting back up. Between preparing the vegetables and making the soup and then washing the dishes and cleaning up after myself, it took 6 hours. And then by the time I was done, I ate my soup and then I collapsed. I slept for an entire day. I'm not even kidding. Like, we're talking 24 hours, an actual whole day. No, wait, not 24 hours. It was more like it was like almost 20, actually. It was pretty close to a whole freaking day, but it was like definitely an entire waking day. I had to. I couldn't. I was so tired. I needed to recover. It screws me up. Fortunately, one thing that chronic pancreatitis and POTS have in common is that it's recommended and actually better for you to eat several small meals throughout the day. So eating is sort of the same for both conditions. The problem for me, though, is, like I said, the gastroparesis. So I really can't eat more than one solid meal a day. So I have to get my calories through liquid form. It's tricky. So, gotta chug hella Gatorade, gotta chug hella water. I can't have caffeine anymore. I was having, when I wasn't, I guess, in a POTS where I was able to drink caffeinated beverages, but I tried drinking a Mexican Coke yesterday. Bruh. Tachycardia, and then I passed out. Which is another fun thing that happens with POTS, is eating is also tricky because of that. I have to tiptoe around, how I'm eating for chronic pancreatitis, and I have to take a pill every time that I eat with chronic pancreatitis. Like, I legit cannot. I can't eat unless I take Creon. These are some nasty little pills. Let me see if you can see this. Sorry, I keep bumping the microphone. But yeah, I gotta take these little bad boys. Supposed to take one with a snack, two with meals. Basically, literally every time I eat, I have to, because my pancreas doesn't produce pancreatic enzyme anymore properly. I have pancreatic exocrine. Wait, is that what it's called? Pancreatic exocrine insufficiency? Enzyme insufficiency? I don't remember the exact name, but basically, yeah, my pancreas doesn't work. So, yeah, poor little dude needs help. These are gnarly. At first, when I was taking them, sorry for the TMI, it made me super constipated. So I had to figure out what it was that I was doing wrong. Part of what I was doing wrong was I was having an extremely low-fat diet because I was paranoid of getting another acute pancreatitis attack. So yeah, I have to literally take a pill or two every time I eat. That includes the liquid nutrition stuff. I still have to take pills for that. 90%, more than 90% of my diet right now is in liquid form. Just to keep up. Just to keep my weight where it is. If I eat just a little less 1 or 2 days in a row, I drop weight like that. So it's really scary. Feel like I'm running a race against myself all the time, and I'm losing. Understandably, this has made activism difficult. This has made life difficult. Like, literally, I'm out of breath sometimes just going to the bathroom. Functioning is difficult mentally. Mental health hasn't been good. I can barely think sometimes, like when the POTS is really, really flaring up. I can't form a sentence. I feel like I'm deteriorating. And it really sucks. I had just gotten a bunch of recording equipment that I was wanting to get forever so that I could start doing some more projects and stuff right before all of this really started going down. And joke's on me, I can't even stand up to record the stuff that I wanted to record. Some of it was music. Got a guitar, got some little audio interfaces, got some cool stuff. New mic too, not this one, different mic. So yeah, not to be a downer on Halloween, but I mean, this is spooky season, right? This is scary stuff, right? Well, this is pretty scary for me. This is where I've been. This is what my life is now. And it's been kind of really hard coming to terms with all of this. So, not only have I been like dealing with all the physical stuff, but like I said earlier, mental health has not been great. It's very depressing, very stressful. And because of that, I've kind of been, hiding out a lot. I haven't had a lot of energy, first of all, to really see my friends or talk to people. Like, literally, sometimes I just can't sit up to talk to somebody. Because, like I said, even talking makes my heart rate go up. And takes a lot of energy. Um, you know, the only mask I wear this Halloween, or that I wore this Halloween, is this guy here. I have to wear these still, even though I've already had COVID twice. I had the OG COVID back in 2020, and I had, I think, the Omicron version or whatever variant in February. Was that right? Yeah, I think that was February. But yeah, I have to wear a mask because if I get sick, that could take my ass out and put me in the hospital really easily. It makes sense though, because anytime I've gotten sick in the past, like even from childhood, it would last for a long time, like a month at least for a cold, month and a half as an adult for a cold. And even my ex, he used to say, "Man, why are you always so sick? Stop dying, blah, blah, blah." And, people always thought it was unusual that I was constantly sick. I used to post a lot on social media back in the day, about, me going to the hospital and stuff. I don't do that anymore. I really just avoid social media for the most part. I poke around on Twitter occasionally, but that's about it. Not even talking to my friends, really. I can't. I just don't have the energy for anybody. And I know that sounds horrible. Actually, one friend told me that I was being selfish, not talking to them about stuff. I had a thought, or I sat around and thought about that for a little bit, and came to the conclusion that I disagree. I don't think it's selfish. I'm doing what I have to do. I only have so much energy in my energy budget, or spoons, as some people call it, in the chronic illness community and chronic pain community. I only have so many spoons in my drawer every day, and once I've used them all, that's it for the day. There's just no more. Like I said, I can do maximum, like, maybe one or two errands, depending on if they're close together and I don't have to, like, travel too far to the next one. And if they're both very short, I have to get my groceries delivered a lot of the time, because that's, like I said, walking around, standing around in line even, I can pass out. It's too much. I've actually had to stop at the grocery store and go sit down and put my feet up on the cart. And why put my feet up? Because it makes the blood come back to my heart and to my head, so that I don't feel as faint. Makes my heart rate go down fast. It's embarrassing because I'm out in public. I'll just be walking along my little cart, but I'll be like hanging onto the cart for dear life. I actually took some videos of that I'll show later. Not in this stream or anything, but at some point, where I'm just like hanging onto the cart for dear life, like sweating, like drenched in sweat, and I look miserable, and I'm wearing my mask and stuff, and people they're freaked out. They think I have COVID or something. I really wish I had like a little shirt or something, or a sign that said, "I don't have COVID, I just have POTS." I'm just chronically ill with other stuff. You can't catch what I have. It sucks because I can't be at my kids' school as much. I used to be the dad that was always there, that was always volunteering, participating in every field trip, all the stuff. That seems like it's going to be tricky now. I've talked to both my kids about what's going on with me, and they're very smart kids, and they understand. And they're not scared because I didn't tell them, "Ooh, be scared, I'm going to die," or anything like that. I told them the facts, and just as much as they need to know for now, so that they can understand why Dad doesn't feel so great. yeah, being trans has also affected the way that I have been receiving my health care. I've been mistreated by a lot of doctors, treated as less than human in some cases, fear-mongered in some cases, outright abused in some cases, and had no recourse either. I tried reporting those things, and I was given the massive runaround for months. Um, I've had doctors try to blame my testosterone for some of my illness, which turned out obviously to be incorrect. I knew it wasn't, but, for a good chunk of the beginning of all this, I didn't trust myself. I thought the doctors, you know, I thought the doctors knew what they were talking about for sure, and that I should listen to them and just ignore my gut. But I've learned to trust my gut, to take what the doctors say seriously, but also to take my gut seriously as well, and to do my research. And doctors, I'm going to tell you right now, they hate Dr. Google. They don't like you researching shit. Some of them don't like you to do that. But a good doctor will actually appreciate that you want to participate in your own healthcare that way and, inform yourself. A good doctor will appreciate that. But I'm going to say this. I've seen a lot of shit on Reddit that made me really sad and actually a little afraid to even talk to doctors. There are subreddits with doctors on there. And all they do is talk shit about patients and how, everybody's diagnosing themselves on TikTok and shit. Everybody wants to have POTS. Everybody wants to have EDS. No. No. I mean, maybe teenagers or whatever, little kids, maybe they think that's cool to have chronic illness. I don't freaking want this. I didn't ask for this shit. And I find it really disheartening and offensive that there are just doctors out there that have that attitude automatically once you start trying to figure out what's wrong with you. A lot of the things that I'm dealing with right now, it takes usually a minimum of like 2 years on average for people to even get diagnosed. Most people with EDS don't get diagnosed until they're like in their 30s. People with POTS they generally don't figure out what they actually have. Some people just straight up don't ever get an actual diagnosis for POTS, even though that's what they have, because doctors don't know how to treat POTS in a lot of cases. A lot of doctors are not familiar with it. In fact, when I went to the ER, like I was telling you, because I thought I was dying with sepsis and it was just POTS, the ER doctor said, "Whoa," when I showed her what was going on with my heart rate. She was like, "I think you might have POTS." Wow. I've never seen that before in real life. I've only ever learned about it in school. That's always what you want to hear. She also said, "Somebody get Dr. House in here. We've got a medical mystery on our hands." A lot of doctors don't want to deal with an EDS patient either. And same thing with pancreas divisum. There's literally only one guy in town that treats people with that problem, and I'm seeing him. But he's the only dude. Everybody else, even Mr. I'm the best doctor in San Antonio, best gastro in San Antonio, admitted in the next sentence after that he's not qualified to treat that. So, yeah, I don't want any of these things. And it sucks that doctors are skeptical of you and that you have to go through such massive amounts of shit in order to just be taken seriously and get a diagnosis. I am being taken seriously now. But it took a lot of shit to get to this point. Like, you have to fucking prove yourself. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They just won't believe you until you demonstrate in some massive amount of tests and shit that you're not lying to them about shit. Yeah, it takes a lot. And I understand. Sort of. I understand to a degree that, they have to be thorough and whatever. They don't want to diagnose you with the wrong crap. But sometimes I think doctors literally just want it to be anything but the rare thing that they don't want to treat because they don't know how to treat it or they don't have experience with it, like EDS and POTS and pancreas divisum. Not a lot of doctors are specialized or trained in those things. In fact, the neurologists, that's right, two, that I saw recently have to put me on a waiting list for the one freaking specialist in San Antonio who actually is who specializes in POTS. The one neurologist who specializes in POTS, and she also, fortunately, specializes in EDS as well. So that's going to be really helpful if I can get in to see her sometime soon. They said I might have to wait between 6 months and a year to be able to see her because she's that busy. I mean, because she's the only freaking one. But yeah, it made me really sad to see all that stuff on Reddit. All these doctors mocking all these patients that they get who are like, they believe that they're just like wanting to have these things because they saw it on TikTok or something. Well, let me just say this. I have a TikTok account. I posted like one video on there. I think it's a stupid lip syncing or something to Panic at the Disco. But I don't actually look at TikTok. Like, the only TikToks that I see are stuff that's on YouTube that gets reposted there. But I don't look at any of the, like, sick talk or sickfluencers, as they call them. Most of what I look at is just cat videos. And, again, I'm not on TikTok. This is only on YouTube. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess they think that people like to symptom shop and go around and find a doctor and tell them, I have all these things, these symptoms that I definitely don't have. And then this is what ends up making it difficult for people like me who actually do have those symptoms. Because then I have to, like, go through a fucking ridiculous amount of testing over and over and over again to prove that I'm not lying or somehow faking what's on my test or something. And you can't fake POTS, just so we're clear on that. Can't fake pancreas divisum. You can't fake EDS either. So, thankfully, even though I have to go through an enormous amount of shit, this is stuff that I can prove that I have. So, I mean, I already have, except for that we're still testing what type of EDS, because there are genetic markers for every type of EDS except for hypermobile, aka type 3. That one doesn't have a genetic marker. But anyway, yeah, I'm supposed to be eating freaking 6 times a day. Most of it's liquid. 1 solid meal a day. Brain fog from hell. Constantly exhausted. Depressed because it's changed my life so much. I don't have the energy to do normal crap, let alone activism or, doing extracurricular stuff with my kids or doing stuff at school with them. I had to get automatic feeders and waterer for my cat and an automatic litter box for my cat because that became too much for me. I feel weak. I feel embarrassed. I am ashamed, out in public. There are days when I have such bad joint pain, um, and bad foot pain and bad back pain and everything that I need to rely on a mobility device. I use a cane occasionally, and I feel silly using a cane, even though I need it. I feel silly because people look at me and they're like, there's nothing wrong with you. I should be using the little electric carts. Like, I should have used that one today because my heart rate was out of this world. Oh, there goes the automatic feeder. I don't know if you can hear that. But yeah, it's embarrassing. There's no shame. I wouldn't shame somebody else for using it. That's the silly thing, is I would never feel that way about somebody else who's using a cart or using, a cane or even like one of those rolling walker things. I would never shame somebody for that, or think anything negative of them for that, or think, why are you using that? You don't look sick. But I think that about myself, because it's hard to see myself as sick still. Like, I feel it and I live it every day, but I just haven't fully come to terms with it, I guess. And I haven't come to terms with my own mortality and what this all means for that, because, yeah, there's a good chance that I could develop diabetes or get cancer. A very good chance that I could get cancer, actually. And even if I don't, my quality of life is bad enough to where it's like, I feel like I'm dying anyway, I can't even carve the pumpkin tonight. I wanted to, but the amount of effort that it would take me to do that, I would probably throw up. I'm not even kidding. POTS makes me throw up a lot. And that might be just the POTS. It is for a lot of other people I know. But it could also be a combo of that plus the sphincter of Oddi and the chronic pancreatitis that makes me do that, and the gastroparesis, of course. And I keep like grunting and like messing with my side here because I'm actually having sphincter of Oddi pain right now. It's quite bad. I'm on tramadol right now too for that. I don't take it all the time because I'm paranoid about like it not working when I need it to work. I'm also paranoid about becoming dependent on anything, so I take like this tiniest dose that they can give me. Even my doctor was like, "It's a small dose. Oh my god, take it when you need it. Stop being so weird about it." But I'm like, I'm too afraid. I don't want to add more stuff to my health problems. But yeah, I'm taking tramadol right now, and that's pretty much what I can tolerate. Like I said, Vicodin, that's a no-no. That'll make my pain worse. Morphine, that's a no-no. That'll make it worse. Ibuprofen I can take, but I can't take it too often because that'll fuck up my stomach. I have to take Zofran just about every day. That's on Dancitron. There we go. For people in other countries, if you're not familiar with Zofran as the brand name. I almost died, actually, because another fun thing about POTS is, especially if you have like the hyperadrenergic type, your autonomic system, which controls all the things that you don't have to think about, like your heart beating and your breathing and all that crap, your autonomic system, if it's messed up like mine is, because that's what POTS is, it's a neurological condition, it's a dysautonomia, is affected by medications. Certain medications I react to very, very badly, and I've always known this because I've had reactions over the years, but now I'm even more paranoid now that I know the reason why. There's like a whole class of drugs I can't take, phenothiazines. That's like compazine and certain antihistamines and stuff. and promethazine. That's an anti-nausea medicine that I can't take. Yeah, I literally have to take anti-nausea medicine every day because it's that bad. The Zofran/ondansetron. I almost died, actually, from a medication reaction that I had in September. No shit, I almost died. Like, straight up almost died. For real. Not clickbait. Even though I didn't put that in the title. I took something called propranolol, which was actually prescribed for anxiety years ago, and I've never had any problem with it either in the past, but when my POTS flared back up, and I thought that, okay, propranolol will help that, because propranolol is actually one of the first things that they'll prescribe you for kind of helping you lower your heart rate for POTS. It's a beta blocker. Unfortunately, in my case, that day, because hyperadrenergic POTS is kind of weird, for the most part, my blood pressure is elevated. I have high blood pressure, but sometimes it'll be randomly low. And that day, it was randomly low. But my heart rate was still crazy high. So I took the propranolol, thinking that was going to help. And unfortunately, I had to be taken by ambulance to the hospital because my blood pressure tanked and I was straight up dying. Like, by the time I got to the hospital, the paramedics had been knuckling me in the chest to keep me awake because I kept passing out in the fucking ambulance. When I got there, they said that my heart rate had hit 44 beats per minute. They were like, holy shit. And my blood pressure tanked. Like, it was very, 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 very bad low. Very low. I forget the exact number, but yeah, it was bad. I was out of it. I don't remember most of that ER visit because I don't even remember the ambulance ride either. I just was so gone. But yeah, they told me I almost died. And for that reason, I'm very fucking paranoid about taking just about every medicine now. I have serious anxiety about medicine now. More so than I ever have. Yeah, my life's a little different. It's going to be hard to do the kind of activism that I used to do. Like going out and pissing off the carts. That's not really the goal when I go out. It's really just to have a conversation with them and kind of get them to think. Ask questions and stuff so they can think for themselves, try to think through their own logic, start seeing where the cracks are. It's harder to do that now, because doing that requires that I stand up for a long time. Walking isn't as bad, unless it's like super hot outside. Walking generally isn't as bad. I can walk at night when it's cool and dark, because actually walking is good exercise for POTS. It helps you to avoid deconditioning, and it keeps your blood, it kind of trains your body, or not trains it, because it doesn't stick around forever, but it kind of helps your body, remember to squeeze the blood from your legs back up into your system. Also, compression socks like an old man help me, and compression leggings all the way up to my waist. And pretty soon a compression vest will be arriving in the mail from the doctor. That also helps to keep the blood where it needs to go. But yeah, walking is not so bad, but standing up and standing still for long periods of time, that's a recipe for disaster, especially out in the Texas sun. Even if it's not that hot outside, like I was saying earlier, for me today, it wasn't hot. The sun wasn't even really out. It was super overcast. Still wasn't good for me. But if I had been standing still in that, oh my god, it would have been way worse. And then on top of that, like I said, talking makes my heart rate go up too. So with all of those powers combined, they are Captain Planet. I'm just kidding. They are way worse. So pretty much a recipe for passing out, especially since talking to Jehovah's Witnesses is super stressful for me in the first place. Speaking of which, that explains why I would get sick so much when I was doing activism, even when it was just, studying with them on Zoom and stuff, and talking to them on the phone. It made me really sick. Because stress makes all of this shit worse. I'm still going to try to do that kind of activism. I'm going to find a way, damn it. I'm not quitting. Just like I'm still going to find a way to be there for my kids. Just like I'm still going to find a way to make sure I'm getting enough nutrition. Still going to find a way to be able to cook. Still have to find a way to shower. Yeah, showering's really fucking hard. I passed out a few times in the shower. And on the way out. It's kind of scary taking a shower now, which is bad. And I need to shower more because I'm super sweaty all the time. So, I'll do things like I have to modify my life a little bit. I gotta hack my life to make things possible now. So, like for the shower, for instance, I'm gonna get a shower chair. Thanks for that suggestion. You know who you are. For my kids, I'm gonna have to be a little bit more selective about the types of activities that I volunteer for. I can't do stuff that is going to have me standing in one spot for very long. I still take my kid, my youngest one, lunch every week. I'm not quitting that. Thankfully that's something I can mostly sit down for. All the standing is just before I even get to the school. My older one, I think that would cramp his style. He hasn't exactly invited me. But, I still get to spend time with my kids. I still find ways to be there. It's just harder. I just barely went to the first gathering or outing or whatever socially that you want to call it, party that I had been to in like years, just a couple nights ago. It was a Halloween party. But I had to limit myself to a short amount of time there. I couldn't stay there for very long. The party was just getting started, really, by the time that I left. And of course, it's because pots. Yeah, everybody else there was drinking. Like I said, I don't drink. Even if I didn't have pots, I wouldn't drink. And the same thing with chronic pancreatitis, wouldn't drink. Anyway. And they were all having a good time, and I'm just sitting there with my Pedialyte. Just like, they thought at first that I was drinking Pedialyte to prepare for drinking, so that I could not get dehydrated when I drink. But no, I was like, nope, I just have to drink this because I'm a potsy. And that's another thing, because I have the type of pots that I have, hyperadrenergic. Like I said, blood pressure is weird. Most of the time it's high, and I still take high blood pressure medication for that. But then, I do need to consume additional sodium and electrolytes in order to replace all the stuff that I'm losing and to increase my blood volume. I've been struggling with all my other mental health stuff, and being autistic and being trans and all that stuff. Those aren't really mental health things. I mean, autism is a developmental type thing. It's not really, I don't consider that a mental illness, because it's not. And trans obviously is not a mental illness, but, those things still exist in my life, and I still have to deal with stuff related to those. Still got to deal with doctors being asshats about it. Got to deal with Texas being an asshat about it. Got to deal with the weird medical stuff related to that. Got to deal with the fact that sensory overload is still a thing for me because of autism. And the sensory overload will drive up my heart rate too, actually, because it's just another form of stress. Going through all these procedures is so stressful for me. Going through everything is stressful for me. And I just feel at the end of the day like I don't have enough energy or, anything left to give other people socially. It's hard. It really is. So, if you're a friend of mine and you haven't heard from me in a minute, that's why. Although you should know, if you're a close friend of mine, you should already know this, because I'm pretty sure I've already told you. But yeah, if you don't hear from me, if I'm not picking up the phone, or if I'm not getting back to you texting or whatever the hell, or getting back on, whatever messenger or whatever social media, that's why. I just can't. I literally cannot. And yes, texting is actually too hard sometimes. I know that sounds ridiculous, but yeah, I don't have the energy. And it's not selfish. It's okay. And I'm telling that to anybody else out there that's dealing with chronic illness. It is okay to step away. If you can't handle something, it's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to do it. Obviously I will answer my kids if they need me. Those are exceptions. But you don't owe anybody your time. Especially if you barely have time to survive. Barely have the energy to survive. I'm sorry, but sometimes talking to people it's just not in the freaking energy budget today. You know what I mean? Sometimes showering is not in the freaking energy budget. Sometimes even cooking is not. Actually, most of the time for me, cooking is not in the energy budget, which makes me very depressed. Because I love cooking. I feel like one by one, things that I love, things that I enjoy doing, things that matter to me in life, like activism, my kids, especially my kids, and being there for them and doing things with them. I feel like one by one, it's all being taken away. But I'm holding on to everything. I'm hacking my life. I'm finding ways to do things. And I will eventually get back to my friends. I will eventually, make time to try to go out to social events. But right now, I'm still in a period of adjustment. Trying to make shit work. Trying to find my bearings and get the hang of this. Because like I said, I'm still adjusting. I'm still trying to figure out how to live with all this shit. And it's been tricky. Like I said, I almost died just trying to manage one symptom of one of these things. The doctor's appointments seem endless. It's one doctor after another. One doctor needs to refer me to this doctor, and this doctor needs to refer me to that doctor. Getting poked with needles constantly. Taking different medicines, trying different shit. Doing physical therapy. Doing exercise, doing dietary changes, tweaking this, tweaking that. I'm sorry. It's it's a lot. I'm still thankful to just be alive, and I think, honestly, that I'm still very lucky. It's not like I have cancer, it's not like I'm officially dying, even though, like I said earlier, pancreatitis is a progressive illness. My lifespan is already cut shorter just by default. I'm still going to do activism. That's partly why I wanted to talk to y'all, is to let you know that I'm not going away. I'm just going through it, I'm having a time. I'm having a freaking time over here. But yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Still going to do activism. Still going to try to hack the other areas of my life to be able to continue to be there in some capacity in other areas of my life. It's going to be a process, and it's going to take a while. And whether you're a friend, a loved one, a stranger, an acquaintance, or somebody who just, watches my videos because you think they're goofy or whatever, I hope that you understand. And especially to my friends and loved ones that I haven't been able to connect with lately, that I haven't had the energy to connect with lately, I hope you understand. I don't hate you or anything. It has nothing to do with you. It's all me. I just can't right now. This right now is taking an insane amount of energy from me. And I'm probably gonna I'm probably gonna sleep for about see, this is the problem. When I said I slept like 18 hours before, or 20 hours before, I did, but like I mentioned also, I have to wake up repeatedly to use the restroom. And also that my heart rate wakes me up too. It's the weirdest, most exhausting thing. It's like trying to sleep when you're hyped up on coffee. But yeah, after this, I'm probably going to sleep for maybe 12 to 18 hours with, breaks in between. The max I can stay asleep on a good day is like 6 hours straight, but I still have to wake up and use the restroom after that 6 hours. But I'll probably sleep about maybe 18 hours or so after this, and wake up every 6 hours. If I'm lucky, it'll be every 6 hours. Feeling like I'm going to explode in my bladder. I'm also prone to a bunch more infections thanks to all of this nonsense. Get lots of rashes because of the sweating from the pods. Get lots of everything. Just everything is affected. Everything's fucked up. But like I said, I'm still grateful to be alive. I have 2 good legs. They still work. They're a little bit, it's the capacity that they work at is a little bit lower now, but they still work most days. And the days that they don't, I have a cane. I'm just having a rough time, but still grateful. Grateful to be here. Grateful to have other ways I can do activism. Grateful to have people that care about me, even if I can't really make the effort right now to talk to anybody. It's just a lot, though. Everything's a lot right now.
Hello.
Excuse the noises. That's it's my phone. You probably heard it a couple of times. Anyway, I'm really glad that I did not turn the live chat on, because I don't even know if anybody's watching, but if they were, yeah, there's no way that I could have focused on this with a live chat happening. Believe me, I would love to have the live chat on, but I would be super distracted, and then that would spend like a fuck ton more energy. To my friends out there battling similar things or worse things, I feel you. I am right there with you. I get it. I get it. And I believe you. I know. Okay, I know. Yeah. Sorry this was such a depressing ass Halloween stream. I had actually originally intended on doing what I do every year and carving the pumpkin, but like I said, today my pots is out of control. And talking right now is just about the most, like the max energy I feel like I can expend during this. Talking is a lot. I'm having chest pain because of the talking. That's normal though. And that's something else I forgot to mention. Pots, technically, generally, isn't bad for your heart. You can have heart problems that are comorbid with POTS, but as of yet, I haven't been diagnosed with any comorbid heart problems that I'm aware of. They did say I had an enlarged heart 2 years ago. I don't know if that's still the case. I don't even know if those things can shrink back to normal or not, but and also I have some kind of weird regurgitation in my valve or something. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, as far as I know, my heart's okay. But yeah, I'm still around, and I will be back. I'm gonna try to work on getting some stuff out that hasn't been released yet that I still have. I have a shitload, like I said, a shitload of content that I have not released, just because I hadn't had the energy to edit the stuff, because I like to edit out faces of Jehovah's Witnesses and names and stuff, because, you know, privacy reasons. And that takes a lot of effort. Sitting up takes a lot of effort some days, you know what I mean? Like, bless. Alright. Well, I just wanted to come on here and talk about that stuff, so that you guys knew what was up. So you knew that I didn't just abandon activism. I still do activism, like, out in the real world. I just haven't uploaded any. All these medical things and stuff, I can't drive because of the freaking POTS. That's typically, I don't think typically people avoid driving from POTS, but in my case, I feel safer not doing that. So I take a lot of Uber and Lyft and stuff, and I do a lot of unwitnessing during that. And that goes pretty well. I did run into somebody who used to be a Jehovah's Witness once. That was a thing. Gave him a link to the documentary, though. He was very interested to find out all this stuff, because like he had been out of the org for a while, but he wasn't like awake. Like he had just left his home and everything, and you know, he just thought he was a bad guy or whatever because he wasn't following the JW stuff. But yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot still going on behind the scenes. I will be putting up stuff soon, though. I honestly, like, with everything that's been going on with me, shit, I hope everything's going okay for you guys, because who knows, like, what you're going through. Like, I can only imagine. I know that people are going through a lot of crap right now. So I can only imagine. And if you're going through something, like I said earlier, I feel you. I'm really sorry. And I hope things improve if they're able to. And I'm sorry I haven't been around, guys. I'm sorry that I've been quiet about things. I just don't like. I don't know. I'm not big into sharing like stuff that I haven't fully come to terms with yet. If that makes any sense. Like, I kind of wanted to work through things first myself, but it's been such a long time, and I think this is going to be such a long process for me that I just felt like I should just go ahead and at least give you guys a sort of an update. And I'll definitely mention, when I have more info on my health and stuff in the future, like if things get better, things get worse, or they give me a new diagnosis or an additional diagnosis or correct a diagnosis or something, if they change something. Yeah, I'll bring it up later, just so that I'm not like dying if I'm not. So you can see them doing a little better if I am. Because I really don't like people to worry about me either. Like, that's another reason I wanted to come and talk. I didn't want people thinking I just dropped off the face of the earth and died. Because I literally almost did. And it would have been a shame, not to just at least let people know what happened or what was going on so they had some idea. But yeah, in any case, I've been talking for a really long freaking time. I should probably hop off here and let myself rest. It's been a day. And I'm going to give myself a treat afterward and have like a little bit of candy. Hold on, let me show you what they are. I don't eat a lot of sugar now. I don't know if you noticed, my Gatorade's a 0. Freaking green screen. It's blue, it's not even green. What the heck? Yeah, I've been avoiding sugar for a lot of reasons. So, like, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but with pots, it's really dumb. But, like, if you eat too many carbs, it can make you pass out. Or just make you tired, like super tired. It makes me super tired most of the time, that's all. But then, like, I'll have an unintentional nap. Like, this feeling will be so strong that I just can't. I have to lie down. But I've actually passed out from it too, so that's fun. Part of that is because things that are more difficult to digest make your blood go to your stomach even more and like hang out there longer, so you feel faint and stuff. And it's the whole thing. So yeah, I don't eat too much sugar because of that, and also because I'm afraid of developing diabetes, and because it's kind of hard on my pancreas. But let's see here. Hold on. Oh, sorry for the noise. Hold on, I knocked my shit. There we go. Here you go. This guy is what I'm going to give myself as a treat. They're good. I don't know if you guys have ever had something like this. They're picositas. They're like these, I guess I don't know, like, I really don't know what you would call these. Like fruity candy, but it's got spicy stuff on it. It kind of reminds me of like fruit roll-ups, or not fruit roll-ups, fruit by the foot, but like Mexican, with Mexican stuff on it. Super good. Oh god, they smell good. Don't worry, I'm not going to eat this entire big freaking tub in one sitting. This is meant to last me for a good 30 years. Oops. But yeah, that's what I got myself as a Halloween treat. because I can't eat chocolate because I'm allergic to that shit. And I figured this is good because it's super salty. Salty is good for me. Not too much, though, because of the stupid blood pressure thing. Like I said, it's very tricky. There's a whole balance to this POTS thing. Sometimes it literally doesn't make any damn sense. But anyway, I'm going to hop off. I'm going to go get some rest. I'm going to eat some treats. And hopefully I'll see you all soon. I hope everybody is doing well and that you had an awesome Halloween. Please take care of yourselves and each other. I'll see y'all soon.